Welcome back, Knuckleheads. I'm Lupine Fiasco. This is Daily Kayo Gameplay, and today we have a game against Boltyn. For anyone who is new to the channel, welcome to the jungle. We have fun and games. What we do here is review replays of games that I played on the Talishar client days or weeks ago after enough time has passed that I lose my bias and can more objectively judge the quality of my games. I will talk through turn cycles and give my thought on the line I would take now, then compare that to the line I took at the time of recording. We either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns, with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future to take down paper events like ProQuests or Road to Nationals, and most importantly, walk away with that shiny cardboard. If you would like to check out the deck I'm playing here or try it for yourself on Talishar, a FaB deck link is available in the video description below. While you're down there, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. A YouTube subscription is the best free way to support me and to make sure that you see daily Kayo gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. If you'd like to go above and beyond, the best paid way to support me is through Patreon, and a Patreon link is also in the video description. A Patreon subscription will get you daily FaB gameplay Discord access. At higher tiers, your name will be featured in every DKG video. You'll get a bonus DKG video every week. There are even more great benefits to come. Daily Kayo gameplay will always be free 5 days a week, so for those who can afford to patronize me, I truly appreciate it. Let's talk about our sideboard and about the Boltyn matchup. Boltyn, historically, is a tricky deck for a FaB player to play against. Depending on which weapon they run, the matchup goes from free to really a difficult race. Raiden Boltyn has always been very easy for FaB to deal with. Combo Boltyn has been a lot harder, as FaB has limited options to deal with the combo before Boltyn fires it off, and once Boltyn does, it is very difficult to win from that position. Kayo is a little more interesting and a little more nuanced, and I think we are in a period of time where Boltyn players are also trying to figure out the matchup. My understanding is that Boltyn prefers to bring Raiden into this matchup, but I can't really tell you why. Because conceptually, Kayo does not run non-attack actions that would allow him to block the sabers without giving them additional power. He does run Fleshbag, which can delay the combo if Kayo knows that Boltyn is about to pop off. He can block the first saber or the first charge attack with Fleshbag, which has the potential to intimidate away one of the Lumina Ascensions. But overall, I still think that Raiden is just a worse choice against a hero as fast as Kayo. So if we're boarding for Boltyn, then we're boarding for sabers, which means that we are going to stick with our Heart and Cross strap because we want to win as fast as possible. We don't want to have the risk of needing that extra resource from Tunic and not having it, so we would use Heart and Cross strap instead. We want to avoid our cast bones as we don't have the time to set up. We could potentially run No Fear and combine that with our armor to try and have a way to prevent the damage from one of the sabers, to prevent Boltyn from getting cards into his soul. But overall, I think that is not a great plan. Reckless Swing is going to be great. Blood Rush Bellows is a way to block out the saber without growing its power. But overall, we just want to go as fast as we possibly can. Command and Conquer and Send Packing are high priority cards. Combined with the Might, it is very difficult for Boltyn to block that. And if we can hit a combo piece in the arsenal, then we are going to be in great shape. So overall, we are just going as fast as possible, assuming it's sabers. If it's Raiden, then we can afford to take a little more time. But it is a little harder to talk about a Raiden strategy, considering just how aggro and how variable it is compared to the solidity of a combo plan. But we have our list all readied up. We are on the zoomy race plan, so let's see how that does. We have lost the die roll, and our Boltyn opponent chose to go first. That did make me think that they're on combo, but we see now that they are on Raiden, so I can't speak to the decision making there. Going first does allow Boltyn to put cards into Soul, but it does give us tempo on our first turn of the game, so I'm assuming Boltyn knows more than I do about this matchup, but to me, this is interesting. If I won the die roll, I would also choose to put Boltyn first. This take flight is 3 with go again. Boltyn has charged, so we are going to put 6 in front of the take flight. We're assuming that there is a Raiden follow-up to this, which will also block for 6. And guessing that Boltyn is just going to pass into Arsenal this last card. With the hand we have here, and with no might, we have not a terribly difficult decision to make. I am looking to send packing here, pitching my blue, and discarding my agile windup to get my might and my agility. It's a pretty underwhelming first turn, but without might, to get the send packing over the top of armor blocks, it's kind of the best I can do. Agility pairs really well with Savage Feast, so if nothing else, we are hopefully getting cards from Boltyn. We don't, we get armor. But we are setting up for a very strong turn 2. We'll just pass on through Agile Windup in our resolution and pass the turn back over to Boltyn. As I said previously, this list is constantly evolving. Lead with Speed is not in my most recent version of my Kayo list. It will work very well here. We are not incentivized to block with this hand, and if we do block, we likely want to block with Lead with Speed early to enable our Reckless Swing. I like this block for 4 on the Raiden. We are not giving it additional power. We are not allowing Boltyn to put cards into his soul. We are reducing the overall power of his turn. Boltyn does need to spend the 1 card in soul to give Raiden go again. Snapdragon is necessary for the snatch, so we are taking a bit of damage this turn, but we are still preventing Boltyn from going off as much as he would have liked to. Lead with Speed here. With our agility, we are going to Savage Feast. We're hoping to draw into a blue. We don't. This can still be a strong turn. At this point, I do like pitching Wild Ride for Swing Big. We push 8 more damage. We have already gotten our KO trigger this turn. Using Heart and Cross Trap to put a Wild Ride into the arsenal, I think is fine. I don't dislike the play, but to me, this is one of the weaknesses of Heart and Cross Trap. If we were racing sabers, again, Heart and Cross Trap would be very good. Depending on how Boltyn builds in the heavy hitters meta, it may be that we want to always assume he's on Raiden. Maybe that will be the play into KO. For any other game, though, for Raiden, I do think that Tunic is a lot better than Cross Trap, and there is a situation where we're kind of just backed into a corner. We have a Wild Ride in Arsenal. We're setting up for a stronger turn, but I don't necessarily love using Cross Trap there. I think it's a little... greedy is the wrong word. Unnecessary, maybe. Short-sighted, even. As we didn't need to use it to really threaten lethal or take Boltyn off of killing us. Here we are trying to decide how to block this Illuminate. This is 5. Boltyn will be able to give it go again with the card in his soul, but in doing so, we keep him from putting this Illuminate into his soul. How we really stop Boltyn from having these big consistent turns is by limiting the number of cards in his soul. So if we're blocking this with Apex Bonebreaker, our choice then is between blocking with one of our blues and blocking with Runner. I am learning as I get deeper into KO that while the Bonebreaker value is great when we can generate our might, don't overthink it, alright? Let's not commit too much to getting that single point of might. And here is a situation where I really don't like that I blocked with Runner instead of one of my blues. And it's just a situation where I'm unhappy that I blocked with this Runner because yes, we have this Wild Ride in Arsenal and we're hoping that we can Wild Ride into Pulping into Claw, but if we discard our Pulping to the Wild Ride, then that's a problem, and I feel like just getting more agility per agility would have been better for us. At this point, we're locked into our decision, so we are just going to take this damage. We're going to open with Wild Ride. We're going to hope that we don't discard our Pulping. This works too. This actually does put us in a position where we are able to Claw Wild Ride, so I'm glad that at least in the past I did see this line. Yep, just pushing damage. Nothing special. No real consideration for holding on to the Wild Ride. I would rather just get my damage when I have the resources available. Drawing into an interesting hand here where we have a few options. We could roll Scabs, which I really don't like. I don't like rolling Scabs, period. Especially not here where we're at 14 and Boltyn has 5 cards. It is very possible that he can just kill us. We could Swing Big and Arsenal and Assault and Battery, or we could Assault and Battery and Arsenal and Swing Big. And I do think that I am more interested in Assault and Battery here. It's not very impactful. It's 6 damage with the Might, but we do make another Might, we make an Agility, we put a Swing Big into our Arsenal. So we're just setting up. We really can't kill Boltyn here. We can't put him in a position where he needs to block this Swing Big for 9. So let's just set up and hope that his turn is going to be unimpactful, and it does appear to be the case if he's just blocking. Light the Way would get Go Again if it hits. I don't want it to have Go Again. I would like Boltyn to need to spend this card from Soul to give it Go Again. So I do want to block this, and based on what we have in hand, based on our agility, I think blocking with Clash of Agility and Bonebreaker is going to be fine. On our turn, we get to Swing Big, Swing Big. There's a chance that we give Boltyn an agility here, which could be bad for us, especially if we are making him use his soul. Agility might compensate for the fact that he would have no cards in soul by giving this Light the Way Go Again. But our alternate line is to give an extra piece of armor to block the Light the Way. We would have to give Scabs, Bonebreaker, and a Wind Up. I think this is fine. We do win the Clash. I'm expecting that we're going to win every Clash we throw against Boltyn, just based on his deck being full of 3s and 4s compared to our 6s and 7s. Let's see, it does look like Boltyn might be able to cover this. Okay, so Boltyn is going to get a Quicken, which compensates for not having the agility. We're still going to hit him for 8 with this Swing Big. But pretty impressive blocking from Boltyn to be able to get the Quicken. Here we have a Bolt of Courage with Go Again that will draw on hit. And I did cut out a part of this video where I don't block this Bolt of Courage because I got greedy and thought, well, I want this 4-card Blood Rush Bella. But that is bad. Don't do that, because if this Bolt hits, it has Go Again, Raiden will attack and have Go Again because Boltyn can give it the reaction, and whatever Boltyn draws gets thrown at us. Now, it's unlikely that we're dead to this series of attacks, but we can just 3-card Blood Rush and be in a good position to win the game, as opposed to letting Boltyn just draw cards. We get our agility. We see that Boltyn would have drawn a Snatch off the top of the deck, which is just crazy value from him. This 4, then 4 from Snatch puts us to 3. Boltyn gets a card in the arsenal. Just really, really strong from Boltyn if that all comes together. This is a weird one. We do have our agility, so we are going to Savage Feast here. Likely Savage Feast followed by Claw. We really can't Claw first because then we would not be able to play our Savage Feast. So we're just kind of hoping that we draw well enough. This Blood Rush Bellow is fine. We're just going to pitch it for Claw. I don't really see... Well, at this point, with Boltyn keeping 1 card in hand, I do like arsenaling Blood Rush here and just setting up for a 5-card Blood Rush. I think it would be understandable to Claw and just get my damage while I can, but we're setting up for a really good Blood Rush turn here. Trying to decide if I want to discard this Wind-Up at the end of Boltyn's turn. I think we probably shouldn't, depending on what we discard to the Blood Rush. So it is the runner. The most we're going to be able to do here is Claw for 5, Bare Fangs for 10. It's still pretty good. We can discard multiple windups to set up for our next turn. We are definitely going to get more blocks from Boltyn. No real consideration to roll Scabs here. Bare Fangs does miss, unfortunately. We're still getting blocks from Boltyn, but we miss out on 2 extra damage from our discard, and we lose a Blood Rush Bellow in the process. I don't hate putting the Mighty Windup into Arsenal here. It just means that we have more options on our turn. Here I'm trying to decide if there is a Lightning Press in Boltyn's deck. I mean, there really isn't. There's nothing that Boltyn could have there, but I do respect him making us think about that. Starting with Bare Fangs, with our agility, we get Boltyn's hand. We're going to play our Claw, and then we're going to follow up with a Wild Ride. So we should be able to put it away pretty cleanly, if not this turn, then on the next. Put Boltyn to 1. With this version of the deck, we still have 2 Swing Bigs, Reckless Swings. So with this, and pretty weak turn cycle overall, we're not threatening lethal, but we are at least setting up for the next turn. Beast Within for 10 takes Boltyn's hand, and we just continue to keep him on the back foot until we can find a way to kill him. This is another situation where we're not going over the top. We'll just CNC for 6, Clash for 6, with no way to discard to Wrecker Romp and also pay for more cards. Our best option here is CNC Clash of Agility. We would pitch a blue to Wrecker Romp. We would discard one of our reds. Our only real follow-up there is Claw. So this is our highest damage line, but again, we aren't going over the top. We don't have a Might, so we are not doing anything more than just getting Boltyn's hand. Throwing the Mighty Wind-Up here because we know we're going to get Boltyn's hand anyway, and we're at least replacing a 3-cost 5 in Arsenal with a 2-cost 6. Here we wind up in a spot where we have the Reckless Swing, but we need to do something to make Boltyn think that we don't have a Reckless Swing. It really doesn't matter. We have more cards in our deck than Boltyn does, so we have him on Fatigue as well. Boltyn has to attack us to kill us. So if we just pass the turn here, yeah, he knows that we have Reckless Swing, but what can he really do about it? That said, if we attack with a Bare Fangs and pitch either yellow, there is an option that we discard our Reckless Swing and our turn is kind of shot. So what we're actually going to do here is roll Scabs. Everything is upside based on this Scabs roll. If the Scabs rolls a 2 or a 3, we can just send packing by pitching our yellow and our red. We threaten Boltyn's arsenal. We keep our reckless swing in hand. If we roll a 4, 5, or 6, then we get to play Bare Fangs, pitching our reckless swing. We take 3 cards from Boltyn, and then we can hit him with a claw and something else. Or my absolute favorite outcome of rolling scabs is, as you'll see, we roll a 1, and now Boltyn thinks that we're just stupid and gave away the game. Boltyn here taking flight. As far as blocking goes, I mean, it doesn't matter, right? We're going to reckless swing and win the game. But I do wonder if we should be blocking with a send packing or a clash as well, on the weird off chance that Boltyn is holding a Sigil of Solace and a Courageous Steel hand. It's pretty unlikely that Boltyn doesn't just die there, but it would be an interesting point to talk about. So that's the game. Things go pretty well overall. I think we did have some misplays throughout the course of that game, giving up our runner as opposed to just prolonging our agility. I think was a definite value leak. I understand why I did it, but I really am letting perfect be the enemy of good with my Apex Bonebreaker. It can just block. It can just be 2 points of block. It doesn't have to be 2 points of block and might. But overall, pretty clean by me. I think this was a good experience with Kayo, and is me starting to learn how to get some value out of this deck. So I hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you learned something. I hope the background noise wasn't too bad. Gardeners and city services driving by. But if you did like this, be sure to assault and batter that like button. My comments are always open for any questions or feedback. If you have not done so, I would ask again that you consider subscribing to my channel. A YouTube subscription is free. It helps me a lot. But whatever you do, I'll see you back here tomorrow for more daily Kayo gameplay. Until then, take care.